Hello and welcome to the Wheel of Crime Podcast, the podcast where two ladies play games, mumble profanities,
and laugh way too often. Viewer discretion is advised.
And sometimes this
listener discretion.
Sometimes this podcast does cover topics of sensitive nature, and as such, listener discretion is advised.
We did it.
We did it.
Hello. Welcome. My name is Jen.
And my name is Emily. And welcome back, everybody. It's been... mentally, I'm a little discombobulated today. I don't know how you're feeling, Jen.
Same. Also,
Ooh,
it's freaking July.
Freaking July. I love July. But I'm also sad when July happens because that means half the year is now over and we're going to be getting cold again, and it just got warm, and that's pretty typical of me to talk about the weather again on the podcast. Just somebody shoot me. I don't know. Put me down. I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, tell me about it. I don't know. I feel like because we live in a place that's so cold for so long that, I'm always thinking about the weather. I have been getting fall videos on my TikTok feed since April. Not gonna lie. And I've been, trying to scroll past, but, I'm also kind of
yeah.
Oh, Halloween.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But also, I am also somebody who obsesses about the weather, clearly. I mean, we've only talked about it maybe 100 times, 1,000 times on this podcast. But for me, it's actually kind of insane how much bandwidth, how much memory space I save for the weather. Because I'm like,
right?
Well, because it's okay, so you wake up one day, it's oh, yeah, it's going to be 20 degrees and partially cloudy later in the day. So then you're like, oh, partially cloudy with where we live. That means it's probably going to rain. That means that I need to wear an outfit where I can be both hot and cold and have water-resistant clothing on and probably wear a hat, but then it'll be too hot for a hat at some point during the day. It takes up a lot of my thinking, actually.
I know. The amount of, I don't know. I also, this happens to me every year. Okay, so, I don't know why I'm shocked or, anything about it at this point, but I genuinely do not have a summer wardrobe. It's fall. It's fall and sweaters and, winter stuff, obviously, because, that's necessary. But, my wardrobe is pretty fall overall. So, in the summer, I'm I have nothing, genuinely have nothing to wear. I'm I can wear my short sleeve turtleneck thing, but that's still hot when it's 30 degrees.
Literally, I had to take a look at myself in the mirror the other day and be like, you cannot keep living with only 2 pairs of shorts and 15 pairs of pants. I literally took myself shopping for shorts and made myself buy shorts because every single summer I am cooking out here. And still I'm I don't need it. I'm just gonna wear it a couple times and then what? And it's nah, bitch. You need to make some serious changes because I cannot keep living like this. I bought a rain jacket too for the first time ever this year.
Wow.
Because it's happened to me too, where I'll be doing something and I get stuck somewhere where it's raining and not have a raincoat and then just freeze to death. And I'm why do I torture myself like this? I don't care if it only rains 2 times a year here. I need to be prepared.
Yeah, I finally bit the bullet, and 2 weeks ago I literally went and ordered 15 tank tops and 5 pairs of shorts, and I was this is my time. I'm doing it. I have a summer wardrobe. I'm buying it all right now.
Literally, I did that on strictly 2 from Amazon because I didn't want a bunch of super expensive things. I just wanted things that gave me options,
Basics.
Yeah. So I got some sweat shorts, some other random comfy shorts from Amazon. Same thing, tank tops, a couple of party tops because now that I'm trying to motivate myself to leave the house, I'm yeah, I should have something cute to wear instead of debating what t-shirt to wear to the bar, that kind of thing.
I also I don't know, My problem is, like, I would love to be the kind of girly who just, like, wears dresses, but, like, I don't wear dresses. So, like, I have a few summer dresses, but I'm like, I think I wore them this one time.
See,
like, one time.
I love how they look on other people. I'm in the same thing. I did also buy myself some summer dresses, but every single time I just end up making myself mad because then I have to wear shorts under my dresses because the sensation of my thighs rubbing together and chafing makes me want to throw myself off a cliff. I'm not kidding.
I would rather die
Literally,
than have chafed thighs.
Like, rip all of my skin off. Like, I can't handle it. And, like, and then it gets too
the most
hot
uncomfortable
because then
thing
you're
on
wearing
earth.
not just shorts, but something over top of it too. And I'm like, would I not just wear
So then you're
shorts and
hot.
a tank top? You know, like, why do I torture myself?
Yeah, I cannot agree with you more. I think we have never been more on the same page. I think the brain cell we share is split halfway down the middle right now.
For sure, especially about leg chafing. Like, I remember it, like, I had it so bad one summer because this is back when I was, like, still, like, wanting to be, like, the hot bitch, you know? So I'd wear shorts during the summer, like, little booty shorts. But then I got leg chafing so bad one time that, like, I literally got, like, a rash. It was, like, these huge, awful bumps. And my skin was, like, raw. I couldn't, like, wear even pants because the sensation of the fabric on my raw skin was just killing me. And I literally, like, it haunts me. Like, when I was picking shorts.
That haunts me.
Yeah, when I was picking shorts off Amazon, that is literally why I picked sweat shorts, because I was like, I will not be caught lacking in these booty shorts and my little chafed legs. I refuse. I will not do it. I don't care how nice my butt, whatever, same thing, looks in certain kinds of clothing. I could not care less.
That's why I live for bike shorts.
Yes.
Like, I don't care if they're not in style anymore. I don't care.
Yep.
Lifestyle. My thighs have never been happier.
Seriously. And then I've had some people be like, oh, if you want to make them cuter, you can hike them up a little bit. I'm like, nah, I need that inseam. No, I refuse. I reject your negative energy. Take it back.
It's not just the chafing, it's the heat rash on top of that.
Yeah, the heat rash. Oh, oh my God. And then, like, heaven forbid you're doing anything else that day that has sweating, like a sweating element or like a swimming element.
God.
Like I said, literally just kill me. Like, just I cannot. I will not do it.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not even going to go there.
Right? Well, is there anything from this last week that you feel like would be a fun thing to share with our listeners?
I go back to work next week.
Ooh, exciting.
Woo-hoo.
So then is this like the week of panic then, of getting stuff together and getting stuff ready?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I don't know, I'm just trying to, like, vibe a little, you know?
Enjoy the peace while it lasts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always so bittersweet because I'm always like, oh, yay, I get to go back to work and make money again. And then I can shop without feeling guilt. Because I'm still shopping, just with guilt, you know? Like,
it is.
Let's be honest.
You can't even feel good about it because then you see things that you like and you're like, but do I really need it? But do I?
Yeah, I do.
Whereas, like, if you're working, you're like, well, I mean, I put the time in. I've made my effort.
I deserve it.
I deserve it. Exactly.
Literally.
Love that for you.
See, whereas, like, I just have a hard time justifying things to myself, but then I just buy them anyways, and they show up at my door, and I'm like, well,
oops. See,
oops.
My version is my Amazon account, I also buy stuff, like, for Andrew and, like, for the business through it, so I get some, like, really stellar coupons and stuff like that, and that's been my rationalization when I want something. I'm like, if I find it on Amazon, I get, like, 20% off because of how much we've spent this last month on Amazon, so why wouldn't I as a treat? Normally it's 50. Why wouldn't I?
Exactly. It's just you're basically saving money because you would have bought it eventually anyway.
That's what I'm saying, right?
So then you have an extra $30 to spend on something else.
Exactly. You see, just think of the savings. I'm doing everybody a favor, actually.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Right? Girl math. See, this last week, I've probably, not even probably, I already know what's going on, hitting up patio drinks, because that's been my motivation for this summer, is if I have the time to do it, I want to do patio drinks, because I don't know what it is. Being a 20-ish, I guess on the later end of 20 now, if we're being technical. There's just something about sitting outside when it's warm out with like a cool beverage and like the sun on your back with like some friends and just like vibing. I don't know. It literally, it makes me, it like spiritual. It doesn't even have to be an alcoholic drink. Like obviously that's kind of insinuated usually. I don't even care. Like just the being outside, you know, and like
with like a crisp beverage.
Yeah, like lately my big thing has been like patio drinks, but with Caesars. Oh my gosh. Something about like a nice cold Caesar when it's hot outside. Like, oh, I love it.
See, like that was like inner peace for me when we were in Waterton and we were like on that one patio by the water with like our like summer sangrias and stuff. And I'm like, I'm finding inner peace. Like it's 2 p.m. and I've got 2 sangrias in me. This is great.
And life is great. I know I'm like sipping my little thing of wine and I was like, this is perfect. This was worth the 5-hour drive. I think it was 5 hours anyways. I don't know. As soon as we got to your house, I kind of blacked the rest of it out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Meh. But yes, so that would be my thing. And lately too, I like playing board games, not like crazy complicated board games, but like, you know, and patio drinks with board games has been something that my friends and I have been pitching to each other for a while. So I'm excited for that too.
That is very exciting. I wish we had free weekends to do some of that together this summer, but maybe we can do it in October.
We could. I would just wear a sweater. It's fine. And they got little heating lamps up there now, like on most outdoor patios. Yeah. So it's fine. It's fine.
It's totally fine.
It's totally fine. All right, well, let us spin the wheel of questions then, and we'll go from there. What is the scariest part of a school? Like, think about like
the math class.
Math. But like, do you remember being like a little kid though, and you start to go to school? Did you have like anything like in the school that like really scared you? Like classroom, janitor closet, like the math teacher? I don't know.
Not specifically. I do remember though, because my dad used to coach my brother's basketball team, and he was like in middle school when I was in elementary school. So I would go with them to the middle school, and it would be like at night in the evening. So I would just like wander around the school by myself. Spooky. Like while they were doing basketball. And I remember one time I got locked in between like in a stairwell type situation, because like the door on like both ends were locked. So I was just like stuck in this like in between, and I was so scared that I was gonna be trapped in there forever. And it was like a banging. And then I think I got lost in that school a couple of times too, like because I would just like, it wasn't my school, so I didn't know the layout very well, and I would just like wander the halls
like a little miscreant. That would be so
Pretty
scary.
much.
Well, stairwells in general, like they give me the heebie-jeebies, mostly because they're usually locked and you end up in that situation where you get locked in, but also because I feel like the idea of getting locked in a stairwell, like one of those creepy concrete dark dusty stairwells, and there's somebody else in there with you, or like thinking there might be somebody hiding in there. Ooh, no thank you.
Spooky.
See, when I was a kid, just because I feel like obviously as I got older, what scared me at school was probably literally math class, my final or whatever. I remember being though like in elementary school and stuff, and I would be scared of like getting locked in places, like kind of what you said actually happened to you. Like I'd always be worried like, oh, I'm gonna like have to go into this closet for something and I'm gonna get locked in there, or I'm gonna have to go these places or whatever, right? Like just weird little things like that, which I totally think are like childhood type fears, so that makes sense. But
yeah
okay,
but yeah, math class truly the most terrifying of them all.
Even today I'm still scared of math class, so that tells you how traumatizing it is.
Every time I think about circle geometry, I get a shudder down my spine.
Genuinely, as soon as letters got introduced into math, I was like horrified.
I'm fucked.
Uh-oh. I'm fucked. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, all right. Well, let's spin for our next question. Do you think that if people believe enough in something, like a paranormal type entity or whatever, that they can eventually create like something weird going on?
Oh, for sure. I feel like people totally manifest things out of nothing, you know? Like, if you were, I feel like when you're like, your mind is so good at tricking you into the fact that, like, if you're like, I'm really fucking scared that there's a ghost here, you can convince yourself, like, things are happening that, like, maybe mean nothing, but to you that, like, is confirming that belief.
Oh, for sure. And I totally also agree because, like, there's even been, like, some, like, it's been interesting. So in the course of us doing this show, just between, like, you know, my wide variety of topics that I tend to cover, I've noticed a lot that, like, with anything, especially ghost related, there's some, like, haunted places where there'll be, like, a story that somebody makes up about a person that literally never existed. But because it's almost like because that person believed it so intensely, though, and then other people believed it too, that they literally like, oh yeah, like you can hear the ghost of the lady walking around on the third floor, and then people will literally hear sounds of somebody walking on the third floor, even though that person might never have actually existed.
For sure. Like, and I feel like that happens actually a lot.
Oh, a lot, right? So, yeah, I would agree. I think that people can kind of create paranormal stuff sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. I would agree with you 100%. I feel like, I don't know. I just think like your mind can definitely play tricks on you a lot, especially when you're already like, I'm scared.
Or if there's other
something's
people
happening
too who are also convinced that in the same thing. I think like having more than one person believe in something is also a huge factor.
Oh, for sure.
The wheel's not happy with us either. Were you ever scared of the toilet as a kid?
The toilet?
Yes. Like as a little kid, did the toilet ever freak you out?
Not that I can recall.
I was super scared of the toilet as a kid. Like, I fully was convinced that if I, like, flushed it wrong, it would, like, sweep me away and just suck me right in. Like, as a little kid especially.
I think I was a little afraid of things crawling up it, you know? Like, you know, like a snake or a spider somehow coming out of there.
Yeah, that would make sense. You know, I fully just went to the next level and I was like, I'm gonna go to the wrong toilet and it's gonna flush me right in. I'm gonna disappear forever.
You took the movie Flushed Away very seriously, I'm guessing then.
I guess. I don't even remember. But yeah, no, or like, I could see the stuff climbing out of it too. Because I feel like as a kid, we would get told those stories about like people in Florida would have like you said, snakes in their toilet and stuff, which that is definitely spooky. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about if there was anything else about toilets that scared me. I think also too, because like automatic flushing toilets were kind of becoming more of a thing when we were in school. I remember I was always so scared, like when I was like in elementary school and stuff, that like I'd somehow end up flushing something important because it would just like automatically flush when you stand up. So I'd like make sure I was like always like a clutch in my pearls, basically making sure nothing flies down there.
I feel like there was an episode of Supernatural where a girl got like grabbed by a demon in like the bathtub or like the toilet or something.
Ugh, terrible.
And I think I like that probably scared me a bit because I think I watched that show a little too young.
From what I've heard, I would agree. I think that you and your brother got a little early on the supernatural in life.
Well, I think it was an appropriate age for him to watch.
Yes.
Not so much for me.
No. Funny. All right. Let us spin for our last question. There we go. The whole time the wheel's just been clanging off stuff. Finally got a good spin. All right. What do you think of when people perform rituals? Like, if somebody came up to you and they were like, so-and-so was performing a ritual, what's, like, the first thing that pops into your head?
Like a satanic ritual?
Like a pentagram and everything?
Yeah, like, I'm imagining they're, like, summoning Satan or something.
No, literally, I think the same thing. Like, literally, in my brain, I'm like, oh, so-and-so was performing a ritual. I'm like, okay, pentagram on the floor, Maybe
Satan's coming.
somebody's
We're
bleeding.
gonna write in his book in blood.
Yeah,
I don't
somebody's
know.
bleeding. They're reading a book in another language. It's dark. There's candles. I don't know what else is going on.
Exactly. They're speaking Latin backwards or something.
Yeah, literally, I think of the same thing too. So,
Well, glad we're on the same page.
I know we're on the same page. All right. So what do you think my story is going to be about today? I believe you're not going to be able to guess exactly what it is, but like, what's the vibes that you're getting?
Some sort of school ritual
That's pretty close.
from another country.
Yeah, you're getting pretty warm.
That's all I got.
All right, so just as a preview for you, our lovely listeners, my episode's not crazy long today. I wouldn't even call it standard. It's going to be a little short, but for good reason. When I was doing my notes on this, really, really want to talk about it because it's so interesting to me. And it actually kind of relates to another episode that I've already done in the past, somewhat recently, within the last like 6 to 8 months. So not crazy long, but like I said, it does relate to a past episode. So if you guys want, you can go back and re-listen to that one if you want to get like a full scope of like the general vibes of my story today. But the other reason why my story isn't going to be too long today is because this story completely originates from another country. And I do not speak that country's language. So anytime I went on any websites that talked about this story, it was all in Japanese. And anytime I did try translating pages to see if I could at least like glean some information that way. But it just wasn't cohesive enough for me to be able to share. Like it would be to me like a not very well translated story, especially because I wouldn't be able to like, like Google Translate can only do so much in that regard. So I'm just going to give you the bones, the meat and the bones of the story. And then if you guys want, I know there's a couple of like Reddit, like subreddits that kind of talk about this a little bit. But again, most of the stories I saw were in Japanese. So if you are somebody who reads or speaks Japanese, this would be a great adventure for you.
Perfect for you.
But I'm not going to try to pretend to speak a language that I don't. So I'm just going to give you guys what I know about this story. And we'll go from there.
Amazing. Well, take it away, Em.
All right. So Hanako-san, or Twar no Hanako-san, also known as Hanako of the Toilet, is a Japanese urban legend about the spirit of a young girl named Hanako who haunts school toilets. Like many urban legends, the details of the origins of the legend vary depending on the account. Different versions of the story include that Hanako-san was the ghost of a World War II era girl who was killed while playing hide and seek during an air raid, and that she was murdered by a parent or stranger, or that she committed suicide in a school toilet due to bullying. Legends of Hanako-san have achieved some popularity in Japanese schools, where children may challenge classmates to try to summon Hanako-san. The character has also been depicted in a variety of media, including films, manga, anime, and video games, and not just as the notorious Hanako-san, but in some versions as Hanako-kun, which is the male version. So,
right.
Yeah. Is this reminding you of something, by the way?
Like The Grudge?
No, something I talked about, like a story I shared. I think it was actually during our Halloween weeks last year.
I don't recall.
Okay. So that's the description. I'll tell you the story, and then if you haven't guessed it by the end, I'll give you your answer. But my game for you, Jen, today, and for our listeners, is to try and see what Americanized version of this story have I talked about already. Okay?
Okay. Emily's testing me.
It's a quiz, my favorite.
Oh no, we're back at school.
Never mind, I've changed it. I'm scared of this. So according to legend, Hanako-san is the spirit of a young girl who haunts school toilets and can be described as a yokai or yuri. I think that's how you say it. It's got like accents on it, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing it totally correctly. But I think I've talked in previous episodes about what yokai are, which is just basically like spirits, demons, cryptids, but like in like Japan and like China and that part of the world. Like, that's just kind of basically the, like, overall term for this kind of thing. So, like, you know how, like, we talk about, oh, my socks went missing in the dryer, the gnome must have taken it, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Their version of that is they have their own version of the gnome taking your socks, and it's a yokai. So, like, that kind of is the same vibe. So, that's what she is. And the details for physical appearance vary across many different sources, but commonly she's described as having a bobbed haircut and is wearing either a red skirt or a red dress. And the details of Hanako-san's origins also vary on the account, so I kind of went over a couple of them in my description, but in some versions, Hanako-san was a child who was murdered by either a stranger or an abusive parent in a school toilet, or in other versions, she was a girl who had committed suicide in a school toilet. And then again, in still other versions, she was a child who lived during World War II, so still fairly recent, right, during the air raid, while playing hide and seek in a school toilet. So those are the top 3 ones, okay?
Is it the gremlins who flew the World War II planes that we're talking about?
Nope. Not even close. I didn't know. I talked about that in early episodes. That's not from our Halloween week last year, you silly goose.
You've had so many weird as fuck folklore things you've told me about that it's hard to remember them all.
I know. You'll just have to wait. So this might be what brings it home for you, by the way, my next little bit here.
Okay.
So, to summon Hanako-san, it is often said that the individuals must enter a girl's toilet, which is usually on the 3rd floor of a school, knock 3 times on the 3rd stall, and ask if
Bloody Mary.
It's Bloody Mary! Thank you! Yes. So, this is actually super similar to Bloody Mary, which is an episode I already covered previously. So, this is the Japanese version of Bloody Mary. But
why'd you say it 3 times?
I didn't even catch that. No, I'm not by any mirrors. It's probably fine. But anyways.
Isn't your phone just a black mirror?
Spooky. I wish you guys could have seen my face when I did that. I just caught myself in the corner while looking at Jen. So, like I was saying, if you guys want to maybe refresh your memory on Bloody Mary, I did do an episode on it, I believe, during our Halloween weeks last year. But yeah, like I said, the Japanese version of Bloody Mary. So,
I think she's saying it now just to taunt me.
Maybe a little bit. But we're back to Hanako-san, okay? So, to summon Hanako-san, I'll just go back to what I was saying. It is often said that the individuals must enter a girl's toilet, usually on the 3rd floor, knock 3 times on the 3rd stall, and then ask if Hanako-san is present. If Hanako-san is there, she will reply with some variation of "yes, I am," and depending on the story, the individual may then witness the appearance of a bloody or ghostly hand. The hand or Hanako-san herself may pull the individual into the toilet, which may or may not lead to hell.
I feel like it probably leads to hell.
That would be my guess. Or
where else is it gonna go?
Okay. Well,
Australia?
Here's your other option. So either leads to hell, which, okay, sure. Or the individual may be eaten by a 3-headed lizard that claims that the individual was invading Hanako's privacy.
Awesome. Both impeccable options.
So either, but that's the thing. It seems like it's just bad anyways. So it's like, okay, you go and you find her. You're like, are you there? And she's like, yeah. And then either reaches her ghostly little fingies out of the toilet to drag you to hell, or her lizard friend with 3 heads eats you or whatever and is like, this is what you get for invading Hanako's privacy. Like, those are both terrible options. Why would you even try?
I mean, at least the lizard option, it's like, okay, the punishment suits the crime, you know?
That was my thing, too. I'm like, hey, all I said
going
was
to hell is just a little extreme.
Yeah, I'm like, all I said was hello to you. Why are you dragging me to hell through a toilet? Like, I feel like that's, like, probably one of the worst ways to get dragged to hell, personally. Yeah. Or 3-headed lizard for invading your privacy. At that point, I'm being like, you know what? I'll take the lizard. I feel like at least
I would also take the lizard.
The lizard has a point.
Listen, I get sweaty in the summer. It's probably hot as hell down there. I ain't going to hell right now.
No, but if you want to
later,
eat me,
sure, but not now.
Not right now. But if you want to eat me because I invaded a little girl's privacy, abso-fucking-lutely.
You know what? It's fair. What's fair is fair.
What's fair is fair. So, This Hanako-san character has appeared in film, literature, manga, and anime, and video games like I talked about. Her first cinematic appearance in the 1995 film Toir no Hanako-san, directed by Joji Matsuko, in which she is depicted as the benevolent spirit of a girl who committed suicide and who haunts the toilet of a school, and she is later depicted in a 1998 film Shinsei Toir no Hanako-san, directed by Yukihiko Tsutsumi, in which she's portrayed as a vengeful ghost who haunts the middle school that she attended before she died, and she's also depicted in the 2013 film Toir no Hanako-san Shin Gekijoban, maybe, directed by Masafumi Yamada. So, she's kind of fairly recent. So, this isn't like something where they've been talking about a ghost girl in schools for like centuries and centuries. It literally is since like World War II era, which I find really interesting. And I tried so hard to figure out if there was like something that like prompted this to even start, but honestly, I can't really find anything, which again just takes me back to Japanese websites that I can't read and not understand either when I translate it. So, just an interesting footnote.
I feel like it's that, like, I don't know. I feel like I can't remember.
It's very post-war. Like, it's a very post-war story. So I kind of wonder if it has maybe something to do with, like, a mixture of schools being destroyed by air raids and maybe the rebuilding of schools and maybe people already being, like, uneasy about certain types of things.
So, like, the plot of the original Grudge movie is these two Americans are making a new life in Tokyo. Together, they move into a house that has been the site of a supernatural occurrences in the past, and it isn't long before their new home begins terrorizing their family as well. The house, as it turned out, is the site of a curse that lingers in a specific place and claims the lives of anyone that comes near. So I feel like it's kind of in that, like, same folklore vein of, like, a specific, going to a specific place and kind of, like, invading that space, which I feel like is a very war-esque sentiment of, like, invading.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense to me.
Foreigners coming somewhere where they're not wanted.
Yeah, and then having whatever happens to already be there protecting its area or itself, and you don't really know what's going on and all these things. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Interesting. That remind me of something else, but I'm sure it's not important. Anyways, so
yeah, it's probably fine.
It's probably not important. But so then Hanako-san also appears in a manga series called Hanako and the Terror of Allegory, which is written and illustrated by Sake Isuno. As the roommate and friend of Daisuke Aso, a private detective who investigates urban myths or urban legends, Hanako-san has also been depicted in the manga series Toilet Bound Hanako-kun by Idolaro, which debuted in 2014. And so this one, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, is an anime that anybody who watches anime today has probably seen at some point because it's kind of like a subculture popular anime type of thing. But yes, it debuted in 2014.
Have you seen it?
I have not, but I've seen like promotions for it, and it's basically in which a character is portrayed as a young boy. So it's basically Hanako-san, but instead of it being a young girl who's like a ghost of a toilet, it's a boy. That's like the big difference. And it's an anime television series adaptation of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, produced by Lerche, I think, premiered in early 2020, so it's fairly recent. And other anime series which feature the Hanako-san character include Kaiokai no Rin, Gigi no Kitaro, and Ghost Stories. Hanako-san also appears in the anime and video game franchise Yokai Watch, but is renamed Toiletta in the English versions. So
I don't know what to say to that.
See, that's the thing.
It's a little on the nose.
I know somebody had to sign off on that. I just wonder,
who?
Is that rude? Like, is it rude to take another culture's like ghost figure that has a name and rename them Toiletta?
Personally, if I was the ghost that this was based off, I would be insulted.
I'd be so mad.
That's just me.
I'm like, there's no mention of my lizard or hell. You just gotta have to comment on the fact I come out of a toilet.
You're gonna name me Toiletta.
Literally named
Okay.
Toiletta.
Now you're going straight to hell. No lizard.
No lizard, straight to hell. So then the Hanako-san legend was also incorporated into a 2020 young adult short story called Who's at the Door. So also, so 14th generation toilet Hanako-san, so the boy anime character, is a Japanese idol whose persona is also based on, I mixed up my notes a little bit. So this is a person. This is not the anime. We're past the anime. I did my bit on the anime. This is a person. So 14th generation toilet Hanako-san is a Japanese idol, so a person who sings and performs, whose persona is based on Hanako-san. Her music encompasses many themes of the Hanako-san legend, which include violence, death, revenge, and psychosexual issues. And I tried to find more about how these tie into the original Hanako-san story, because that's the main thing I was looking for with my notes, was just like, where is the story of how she died? But there's so many variations of it, and how it's been translated to English kind of just makes for like a weirdly conglomerate like myth or folklore that is so closely related to Bloody Mary that it was really tricky for me to like figure out like what the actual history of the story is, or if there is anything, or if it's just like something that like school kids will tell each other about, so there's like too many different versions. But yeah, that
it could be one of those things where like there was a bunch of different versions in like different like areas, and they all kind of like mixed together because they're somewhat similar, but
that's
also
kind of what
different.
It looked like to me, because yeah, there's like, it's like some versions it's like, oh, she died in an air raid, or she was killed by her parent, or she was killed by some random guy in a toilet, and sometimes she comes out of the toilet to drags you to hell. Sometimes it's just her hand. Sometimes there's a 3-headed lizard. You know, like, it's just, there's so many things. But with that being said,
a lot going on.
Yeah, with that being said, I couldn't not tell the story, because I just find something so interesting about there being such a prominent myth of a ghost that lives in a toilet. Like, I fully thought prior to reading these notes, like, my only thought about a ghost in a toilet was like, I played a Legend of Zelda game where there's like a hand that comes out of the toilet, and you're supposed to give it a letter so it can wipe itself and disappear. Or or the
so
other,
this is where your fear came from.
Must have been. Or like the ghost in Harry Potter moaning Myrtle because she like died in a toilet. Like those are the only two things that I could think of. And then it turns out that this has actually been like a Japanese myth for like a long time. Like not like ages and ages, but since World War II, still a long time.
If I died in or on a toilet, please don't tell anyone.
Make it up. Say I died somewhere else.
Like, say I got eaten by a crocodile, like something cool. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. But please, for the love of God, don't tell people I died in the toilet.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that. Like,
she was passing a mad dump and then she died? No thanks.
Is that not literally how Elvis died, though, or something?
Yes. And how embarrassing for him.
Yeah, and everybody has to know. No, I'm with you on this one. If I die some embarrassing death, literally just make something up. Like, I'm good. That is my dying wish. Make it sound like I died doing something cool. Like, anything but that.
Or boring. Like, just be like, yeah, she just passed away in her sleep. Like, whatever. Fine.
Yeah.
Just do not tell people it was on the toilet, okay? Leave me with my pride in death.
Leave me with my pride. Literally. But I don't know, how do you feel about this toilet spirit? Was there anything, have you heard anything kind of similar? Because I know you and John like watch a lot of movies and consume a lot of that type of media. Is there anything similar in that regard to like this story or anything?
Not that I can really think of. My overall takeaway from this story is that if someone nicknamed me Toiletta, I would probably come back and kill them, but...
That's fair, I think.
Other than that, I don't have too many thoughts.
Yeah, well, okay, and here's just like a continuation of my thought on Toiletta. Imagine you die, okay, and you come back as a ghost of something.
Imagine you die a horribly embarrassing death in the toilet, and they tell people that, and then...
Well, and it's like, but here's the thing. It could be anything. Imagine you die and you're like riding an electric scooter and then like your ghost haunts scooters. Instead they call you Scooterina. Oh, careful. Or
Scoot.
Or yeah, Scooterina's gonna get you. Like, just no, I don't want to hear it.
Put your cutesy ass stupid names away.
Literally. But yeah, so that was my story. Is there anything else that inspires you about this story? Because, like I said, a little bit shorter today, but like I said, I would love to hear your thoughts if you have any.
I never want to interrupt her and get dragged down a toilet. I don't want to meet the lizard.
Yep.
Actually, I do, but under different circumstances where he's not mad at me.
I'd like to converse with the lizard. You know? I
yeah,
feel
like we can go for a coffee or something, but like I don't want to be in the situation where he's mad at me and that he's gonna eat me. Like, let's avoid that.
Yeah, and I also don't want to
go to hell
her privacy
yet.
You know, like that kind of thing. Like, I understand where he's coming from, but I also want to know about life as a three-headed lizard that like accompanies a ghost. I feel like that's like pretty interesting. Yeah,
like you guard this toilet. I don't know, like what's happening? Just tell me everything.
Yeah, how'd you get here?
What happened? Like, where did you come from?
How'd she hire you? Where'd you come from? Yeah.
Like, if she was murdered by her parents or however, like, where do you come into play here? Like, what's the story? Were you part of the murder? Were you just, like, a bystander and now you have to be here? Like, I have so many questions.
That's what I mean. My story leaves more questions than answers. But...
it sure does.
If you liked today's episode, you can leave us a review on wherever you listen to our podcast and let us know that you think we're great, because I hope you do. Please.
Yeah.
Please. And you can also check us out at www.wheelcrime.com if you want to see more about us and our show. We also have our social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, all at Wheel of Crime if you want to check us out on there. We have our email, which is wheelcrime@gmail.com. If you want to send us a message or just anything, say hello. We love it. And we also have a Patreon, which is Wheelcrime at Patreon, if you want to donate to the show. And lastly, if you listen to the story and you were like, oh my gosh, I had a hand come out of my toilet. Or, oh my gosh, or something else. Or I've met a three-headed lizard.
I'm horrified for you.
Yeah. First of all, sorry. But second of all, please tell us, because OMG. But you can write in.
I can't wait to open the submission to be like, someone's like, yes, I too had a hand come out of my toilet and rip me down to hell.
I've been haunted by Toiletta, and I'm actually living in hell as we speak. But if that's you, you can submit your listener story to the podcast using the Google Doc available on our social media. And yeah, like we'll be doing a listener stories at the end of the summer, a little campfire story, wrap up to the summer if you want to submit a story that could potentially be read out on the podcast. So if that speaks to you, feel free. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I got nothing to add.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. And we'll see you next week for another new episode. Okay, bye.
Bye.